Hey, warm welcome, all women in tech. And we might have a man here also, I saw. Welcome to you too. What a crowd, Ellen.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah, thank you for having us here today. Good to see you all.
So, we start every meeting that we have in Sandvik with a security briefing, don't we?
Safety briefing, yeah, and we thought today we'll just introduce you to a little bit of our outfit for mining. So what do we normally need to wear when we go underground? So it's pretty simple: safety boots, reflective clothing, then of course a hard hat and a lamp because it tends to be pretty dark underground. And then I guess the most exciting piece is this kind of a self-rescuer pack. So anytime we go anywhere underground, we would have that with us. And in case of an emergency, this mask will enable us to walk to the next safe location, which can be approximately 15 minutes away. Here today, in case of any emergency, please follow the signs, of course, and we will have the crew here helping us find our way out. And the closest assembly point is just outside in the parking lot. And I also like to emphasize that we have psychological safety as one of the items always in our safety priorities.
Awesome. So, who are we? Let's tell you a little bit about us. My name is Sofia Sirvell, and I work as the Chief Digital Officer in Sandvik. So I'm a part of the Sandvik leadership team, and my job is to drive the digital change and to inspire all our colleagues to succeed with this shift. I sit and work here at our headquarters in Stockholm.
My name is Elen Toodu. I'm a mining engineer, and I work with our Digital Mining Technologies. So my job is actually to bring together our different technologies from our acquired companies and see what are the best solutions out there for our customers. I'm actually right now based in Australia, Brisbane. So Sofia actually used this opportunity when I was 2 days in Stockholm to come and join you today.
Nice of you. So, during the next 45 minutes, we want to take you on a journey into the world of mining. And we want to share some of you how this industry works. It's an ancient and traditional industry that is transforming, and it's transforming very, very fast. But first, let's talk a little bit about what the mining industry is. There are so many myths about this industry that it's dangerous and that it's also a dirty business. But the truth is actually that mining does play an essential part of solving the global climate crisis. So to put it into more context, you know that we have the Paris Agreement, where we have all agreed to try to reduce the warming to below 2 degrees Celsius. And how can we achieve that? Well, a lot of that is, of course, by driving electrification. And what do we need to drive this electrification? Well, of course, a lot of minerals. And these minerals, like cobalt, lithium, and graphite, and the need of them are enormous right now. And they all, of course, come from mining. So, these minerals are crucial to solve our energy problem. And let's talk a little bit more and test you a little bit on what you know about mining.
Yeah, exactly. We wanted to test the temperature in the room, and yeah, please scan the QR code or open your Kahoot app, and we'll have some mining questions for you. And it's very easy, so don't worry if you also don't know anything about mining. Just give it a try.
Might learn something. So let's see how many joiners we have. 2, 3, 4, 5. See how we do? Oh, we're moving fast. Let's wait a little bit more.
It seems very safe here, so maybe we can remove our safety gear.
Put them here.
Let's see, that's all right.
Okay, still increasing, 65. Okay, we're at 64 participants. Let's kick it off.
Let's kick it off. So first question. Which critical minerals are used in battery production to enable electrification? We are basically testing your knowledge, how much you listen, or we tested how much you listened to Sofia's speech in the beginning.
Okay.
Let's see. You have 4 different categories to choose from. We'll give you some time. All right, coming in quickly. Very good.
60,
Yes.
70 answers, and we have 11 seconds to go. So,
Good options.
woo, there we go.
Perfect. So, yeah, and I see everyone listened really carefully or knows the answer already, which is great to see. So, as you do understand, mining these minerals is crucial for the electrification process. And this is what is going to actually lead us to the reduction of the carbon emissions. And I think it's a really interesting fact that I just read the other day. It's like for producing one electric car, you need 110 tons of minerals. So actually, that's everything that needs to be mined to just make one car. I think that's interesting.
Super interesting. Our next question is about how many kilos of minerals that a person consumes every year on a yearly basis then. But before asking these questions, I want to explain a little bit more what we mean with consume minerals. So this, for example, is the consumption of mineral-based products, for example, stone, sand, cement, salt, aluminium, and copper. And we are now wondering, the question is, how many kilos of mineral does an average American consume in 1 year? Maybe a little bit more than an average European. What do you think? 3 seconds to go. Is it 3, 10, 18, or 25,000 kilos? And the right answer is 18,000 kilos.
Oh, yes.
We had 24 people who got the right answer there. Imagine that. Everything from sand, salt, phosphate, and metals that needs to be mined just to keep up our living standards. Of course, with the increased circularity that we all need to work on, recycle, reuse, remake, we will reduce that need eventually. But right now, these minerals play a crucial role in the change to electrification. So let's see. Well done, ABB. You are in the lead, followed by Emma and MA. Keep it up. We have 3 questions to go.
All right, let's go for the third question. How deep do you think is the deepest mine in the world? And your options are 1 kilometer, 2, 3, or even 4 kilometers deep. That's great. I want to see what your thoughts are on this topic.
They're fast at answering.
Very good. Let's see. All right, 4 kilometers. And I see that the majority of you actually knew that answer as well. It's a Mopeng gold mine in South Africa. And actually, when you go 4 kilometers deep, the temperature of the rock is 60 degrees. So that means that they need to actually pump slurry ice underground to cool the air in the mine. So it would be about 30 degrees, which is sensible for people to sensible for people to work in, I guess. The deepest mine I've ever been to is 3.1 kilometers in North America. The rock temperature there was also actually between 45 to 50 degrees, and it's a really unpleasant experience. So that makes you really realize why we're going for automation and technology to then actually remove people as much as possible from these hazardous conditions.
And I know that you know a thing or two about gold mines because you actually worked in one. We will hear more about that later.
I'll tell you a bit more about that.
It's great that we then have this automation equipment and autonomous vehicles so we can remove the need of people having to work in this climate. Okay. Let's look at ABB still in the lay there. So please, somebody try to challenge them now in our next question here.
Lynn is there.
Oh,
Lynn
Lynn.
Is,
Oh,
yes.
thank
yeah,
you.
keep
Lynn, great.
the winner. It's
Okay, so our next question is around people working in the mining industry. And it's actually a little bit of a challenge to find enough talented people to work in the industry. Our question is, to what percentage of mining leaders worry about skills shortage and not finding skilled workers? Is it 71, 57, 42, or 25% of the leaders in mining? What do you think? We soon have all the answers, 70 answers. And you think 71%, and you think correctly. There's just serious problems with the shortage of skills in this industry. It's partly due to the reputation of the industry, and there's obviously a lot to be done to work on this. And also to make it more attractive, we strongly believe that we also need to work on the gender diversity. in this industry. We talk a little bit more about that in the end. I see that ABB. Now, what happened to Lynn? You choose the wrong answer for that question. Now we have ABB on top and Sofia in the second runner-up.
All right, it's time for our last question.
Yep.
So speaking a little bit about gender diversity, our final question is, what is the share of female employees in mining? You think it's 34%, 21, 12, or 7%? And of course, talking about skill shortage, and we see that that's going to be a main cause of us not reaching our production targets. So really putting efforts into getting more diversity is definitely our number one priority, and I guess one of the reasons why we're here today. So the correct answer is 12%. I see there's a quite variety of answers on this one. So we are actually the second lowest industry after construction at our 12%. And what mining companies who have greater gender diversity are reporting is actually improvements in cost efficiency, productivity, innovation, environmental figures, and most of all, safety. So it's not like, we definitely need to put more effort into that to fill the gaps.
You're a role model, Ellen, in that way. So let's look at our podium. In third place, we have Matilda. Where are you? Woo. Oh, you're all the way up there. I don't think I can throw that far. And Mind Me, where's Mind Me? Oh, sorry. And finally, ABB. Where's ABB? Oh no! Sorry, safety first. Sorry for attacking you. Okay, so now that everybody has some basic facts and you seem to be quite skilled already, let's talk a little bit about this industry and specifically the digitalization of this industry. We would like to share with you a short video first, describing our vision at Sandvik for the mining industry. To see if we can get that working. No? No.
The world needs minerals for the clean energy transition. Mining is vital for this change. We are leading the way by driving the biggest technology shift in the industry's history. Our vision is to enable the sustainable mine of the future, a mine that is automated, digitalized, and 100% electric. Electric mining equipment reduces energy consumption, greenhouse gas emissions, and ventilation needs. It is also more productive and powerful. The shift is already taking place. Mines all over the world are becoming more sustainable and are starting to operate electric equipment. And Sandvik is the leader in electric mining solutions. We make the shift, advancing the world through engineering.
Let's talk about your job, Ellen. Let's talk about digitalization in mine. And I thought we could start at the beginning of the process where we do the mine planning. Can you share a little bit about what's going on in mine planning and how we use digital tools there?
Sure, yeah, and we're starting with my favorite topic, mine planning, so I try to be very mindful of time. So what is the job of a mining engineer? It's basically to take a geological model, so we have done drilling, we know more or less where we have different metals in the earth, and then try to start figuring out how to extract these minerals from the earth in the most efficient and sustainable manner. And I don't feel that old, but actually when I started in mining, we were doing all of this work pretty much manually. So we were printing out a lot of pieces of paper, and we were looking, trying to imagine it in 3D by looking through it in like on tables of light or like even through windows sometimes. And I used to work in Lapland, so there was not much time of light. So it took quite a lot of imagination to actually make good versions of a plan. And by doing it manually, it took us a long time to make one scenario or two scenarios of a plan, like where to build tunnels, how to schedule that. So there's been a great change in the industry in the past, I'd say 15 years. And now we have powerful enough computers and good mine planning software. We work for Sandvik, and one of our companies is Sandvik, which is the leader in this space. So it made an enormous change and gave us the capability of running plans in just a matter of like thousands of scenarios in a matter of minutes. So it's a huge shift. And one thing I always like to highlight as well is, like, it sounds like a dream and everything is now super easy, but when doing that change, it doesn't come easily at first. And actually, the first time we were running scenarios through a mine planning software, we actually lost some of our reserves. And like you mentioned, I used to work in a gold mine. And the first time we did it properly, we lost 175,000 ounces from our reserves. So I had to go to our Canadian bosses and say that, the plan has now 350 million euros less in it, but it's a much better plan. So it takes some convincing.
I can imagine that they were surprised. How about, like, what's left? What do you think is the next step in the planning, digitalization of planning in mines?
Well, in planning, our focus is a lot in like standardization, simplification, integration work, optimization. So we really want to make sure that these, like you saw the numbers, like that these small pool of mining engineers we have, that we use them as efficiently as possible. So that's definitely our number one priority. And then, well, my job is to connect the equipment that we produce from Sandvik to the mine planning in the first place. So utilizing the data and the large amount of data we collect underground and use that in different stages of the mine planning process. So actually closing that loop from the operational aspect to the mine planning aspect. And I think there's simple use cases for that. Like when you see equipment is not performing in certain areas, you can plan better and make better plans, or like adjust how you drill in these areas. Just as simple examples. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can do here with optimization and AI, for example. So.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things to do. We just ran an innovation competition with some startups in Sandvik, and one application for AI was to use AI with cameras to analyze after blasting how you can extract the minerals after that in a safe manner. So that was quite exciting, I think.
Very interesting.
How about when we go from planning and to the actual operations, getting the stuff down in the mine? Where are we there in terms of digitalization?
So I feel it's crazy to say that actually in mines, for our mine automation team, it's our 20-year anniversary now. So we're actually celebrating it on Thursday this week. So 20 years of mine automation, and we currently have around 1,000 pieces of equipment running out there in the world. So it is pretty impressive what we're already doing today. And we're able to run these huge pieces of equipment several thousands of kilometers away. So we're giving these mine operators a chance to live close to their families, work from a safe environment, and be much more productive, and have one operator operating several pieces of equipment. So I'm very impressed at where we are already with that today. And another topic I wanted to touch upon is the predictive maintenance side. Being an equipment manufacturer, I feel it's impressive how we're already using AI, IoT, and analytics to help predict what's going to happen to the equipment. So we are better prepared in doing maintenance, sending necessary parts to have this equipment, this expensive equipment, running all the time. So I think it is impressive, and I'm also eager to see where we're going with technology here. So.
Wow. Super cool. And what do you think is the next step then in digitalization of the operations in mine?
I think from automation perspective, automation in the mines currently has gone with the principle that automated equipment works in certain areas and people work in other areas, and they don't mix. And for us to be more efficient in this space and have more automated equipment, we need to start mixing them first before we can remove people completely. So I think that is the next step. And then it's back to my favorite topic of connecting it with planning and utilizing all of the information. So we can do operational planning in a much more efficient manner, and then actually start optimizing those processes. And I like to bring here an example of that it's the difference between me as a person telling autonomous equipment where to go and what to do next, or the autonomous equipment knowing what's the best thing to do on their own. So I think that's the difference, and that's the leap we need to take. I know that you recently visited an underground mine. I'm really keen to hear your fresh perspective and how did it feel like and what did it look like?
Well, yes, it was 2 weeks ago. I visited LKAB mine in Kiruna. So that's 1,350 meters below ground. And I was actually super impressed. After spending 3 hours down there, I had to remind myself that I was not in a modern office building above ground, that I was actually in the mine. I spent an hour together with the operators in the automation room. Those sitting there with big screens and joysticks, running basically all our fleet with load and haul equipment, and that's the equipment, the big machines that are taking the material out after blasting and putting them, transporting it further in the mine. And so I saw this guy sitting there working, and he could control 4 machines with a joystick, and only a few parts of the steps he actually interfered with the automation. I thought it was super modern, clean, and impressive.
I'm glad to hear your positive feedback and these first impressions. You're coming from a completely different industry. How do you see that you can take your past learnings and help us improve mining in general?
Yeah, can you make a bigger shift from retail and fashion into mining? I think these clothes are quite fashionable. So one thing that I reflect a lot about is customer centricity. If you have worked in retail, it's 100% clear that the customer is the center of everything. In our company, I think we come from a technology and innovation perspective, so the product tend to be in center because we have superior product that we develop. And I think we can develop a little bit there to really see the customer perspective and to make sure that all our equipment fits together to make it simple for the customer. So customer centricity is maybe some perspective that I think I can bring to this company.
No, definitely. That's something we've really focused on, I believe, in our work at Sandvik as well.
But I'm curious about you, Ellen. I know that you have quite an exciting journey that you have been taking, and I know that right now you live in Australia with your husband and your child. Can you tell us a little bit about this journey?
Yes, that's a very big face on the screen. Intimidated. Yeah, I can start a little bit of how I ended up in Australia, I guess, but not sure how far to start. But I'm Estonian from my background, so I actually come from Estonia, and I started the mining industry on the eastern borders of Estonia, so where Estonia meets Russia. I was actually one of the, I think, 4 people who spoke Estonian on that site, so it was a good Russian language course. And I think I quickly, it was a great experience, but I joined mining because it's an international business. So when I got offered a job for a Canadian gold mining company, and for a mine located in Finnish Lapland, then I took that opportunity. And I think in Sweden, the Levi ski resort as well. It's not a bad place to live when you're working in mining. So we go to pretty exotic places. So I spent almost 9 years in Lapland, so a very long time there, and did a lot of different operational and engineering roles, both in surface mining, underground mining. Ended up leading the engineering team for the mine and traveled a lot to Canada and back. But then I thought, I want to travel the world more and see even more mining and what's happening. So I joined Sandvik about 5 years ago. And there's actually a lot of pictures from my trips with Sandvik. Sandvik takes you to weird places, I'd say. Yeah, some of them are from West Africa, Central Africa, Brazil, Chile, with my friends in Australia. So it's really takes you around the world. And I think that's the part I like, and that's the part I also appreciate when working for such an international company. So yeah, 6 months ago, I moved to Brisbane. Sandvik sent me there with my family for about 2 years to work on these integrations, and it's definitely a great experience. And my little 4-year-old boy speaks with Aussie accents. That's pretty good.
Awesome. It's a very exciting journey and great opportunity you got. So you started from the beginning in more operations, engineering, and then now recently you do work a lot with digitalization. What made you make that shift? you think?
Yeah, I think I'm a pretty impatient person. So when working for the mine sites as well, I really like to. I was always looking at how we can make it more efficient or safe, and starting actually working with companies like Sandvik or Desvik in building these kind of solutions. But then I felt that maybe like in a mining company, things like I felt they were not moving fast. Now looking at it from the outside, it was actually pretty fast, but. So yeah, that's why I decided that maybe we can even make a bigger impact on how we digitalize and mine in the future, working on the OEM side and actually developing these technologies. So I joined Sandvik and started working with automation. You can see our automation chairs. They sometimes even let me operate, so that's how simple it is. My boy thought he's operating. He wasn't actually operating on a family day, but that's how simple it is. So yeah, now in my current role, I was actually able to then combine my knowledge from mine planning, from the customer side, with automation and kind of bringing it all together. So been a good journey for sure.
Awesome. And we also thinking about your little boy there, uh, like work-life balance is yeah.
Exactly. I wanted to ask actually your input in that. Like one thing I struggle with my career, I guess, is when traveling and working is like how to find that work-life balance. Do you have some secret tips you want to share with us?
I don't know if I have any magical recipe, but I actually deliberately made some choices not to travel so much when I had small kids. So a couple of job opportunities that I said no thank you, and also my husband deciding to stay a little bit more at home. But then now I have big kids, so 16-year-old and 18-year-old, they can cope by themselves. I cannot leave them at home by themselves in the weekends. I can leave them in the weekday, but I have a bad experience from leaving them at home in the weekend. So it's a new perspective.
Yeah, definitely. That's not a problem I yet have with my 4-year-old, but
you know who to call if it happens to you.
Know what to look forward to. What do you think then? Your kids are in an age that they are looking for like what they want to study and what they want to become eventually. So how do you think we can make mining more attractive for young people?
Well, first of all, I have like the traditional thing. I have a boy and a girl. My boy was early on interested in engineering. He says, I want to go to engineering school. And my girl said, I want to become a lawyer. Of course, that's a great occupation. But lately, I think she has started to be more interested in math and physics. It's not that I try to sell mining specifically yet, but I can see an increasing interest in engineering. And I think we need to start early. Think we need to start in schools and in universities to succeed. So, lot left to be done. But you and I are here today, and that's like a small step. I think we all must lead by example. What you can't see, you can't be. And I think you are a really good example of that, Ellen. You did, when we talked before, you did mention some practical examples of, for example, when you try to hire, how to get more female applicants to jobs. Can you share that with the audience?
Yeah, definitely. And I feel it's all about like empowerment. And as ladies, sometimes we feel intimidated when the job applications have like too many requirements, and there are certain tendencies. But we had a really concrete example just like a month ago in Australia. We're trying to hire a support person for a mining operation, and we used a really like a very technical mining term, and like no one that comes outside from mining would not know what that job is about. So actually, when first running it, like we didn't get any female applicants. We got a lot of men who come from mining applying, but no female applicants. The job name was Nipper, so I don't think anyone here would understand what that means.
No.
So we made a small change and called it operational support technician, which is actually what the role was. And actually we made it really attractive for ladies. So over just one weekend, we got 50 female applicants who are actually keen in Australia. Yeah, that's good, right?
Yeah.
So really small things that we can do, I think, to attract more people, yeah.
Great. Great example. We need to do many small things, and being here today, I think, is one of them. We'd also like to share with you that Sandvik is a lot about mining, but it's not only about mining. We have another part of our company too, which is machining and manufacturing. And our mission there is to simplify manufacturing of all those small components that brings together to things that you have in your everyday life, such as a car or an airplane. And we thought we'd watch a little film on our machining business also.
Manufacturing of the future is automated from start to finish. Our solutions help the manufacturing industry become more productive, energy efficient, and less resource intensive. We combine industry-leading software and cutting tools with strong partnerships and a collaborative mindset. This creates digital threads flowing through the steps of component manufacturing, from design through machining to verification, enabling data feedback loops and a continuously optimized manufacturing process. Manufacturing of the future will be seamlessly connected and automated, ensuring products are made in the smartest way with the most efficient use of resources. We make the shift, advancing the world through engineering.
Okay, so
Yeah, if you want to know more about Sandvik, please feel free and come and look at like talk to us in our booth, and please feel free to reach out to either Sofia or myself as well, and we were keen to answer any questions you have. And I think we actually have now as well time for some
yes,
questions,
we
right?
do have time for, and I have some candy for the first person who dares to ask a question. Anyone? Yay!
That's a good question. Yeah. Mm.
Hmm. You want to start? Or
Oh, you can go. Yeah.
well, I
You
mean,
can
it's quite scary for me because I have just joined this industry. So you ask me anything about retail or logistics or stuff like that, I have knowledge. But also, it's quite scary to go into a role, and it's also high up in the leadership team of the company. But I knew nothing about mining 2 years ago. So that's quite a scary, I think, situation. And to just dare to kind of ask questions and show vulnerability, I think, is critical. But also, I try to remind myself like the reason why I'm here is because I have this knowledge to ask the right questions and to drive change. And I can forgive myself for not being a mining specialist the first day of the job, but it is scary. I agree with you. And sometimes, of course, I doubt if I have the right skills. Mm. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
No, I completely agree, and I think it's especially when you get started as well. I think that's definitely had that feeling being like one of the few ladies in the industry. And then I feel that that makes us work harder as well, and then I guess like that's one part of it. But I think yeah, at a certain point, I think you're just I think I have enough of experience and can and talk on based on that experience, and I think that's what gets us forward. But I think it's still in it's also very cultural. Like it depends on because I travel a lot to different places, and there are definitely cultures where they wouldn't like they would always address my male colleague. It doesn't matter if he's like working in my team or like it's just I don't know. It's just something I think that we need to accept and change, I guess, with time. And I do challenge it a lot as well because I've gone to like I traveled to Brazil to visit some mine sites and took like I don't know 4 flights and spent 5 hours in a car to get there. And then they told me like you're a woman, I will not gonna let you underground. So, but then, like, they wanted to get a free trial for automation. It's not going to be a trial if I don't gonna go underground.
I'm not going to do it from the surface.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I got the underground visit, but yeah, it is all about like challenging the norms, and I think we need to, yeah, put, please.
I'm not a good.
Yes, we definitely. Actually, Vale is pretty like they're pretty forward thinking in this area. So yeah, that's one of my trips was actually to visit Vale, the mines of Vale, and then some other underground operations in Brazil. So they are on the surface mining side. They're definitely pushing the boundaries there, and then we are actually gaining a lot more traction in the underground side now as well. And Brazil is actually one of the countries that gets a lot of mining engineers. So we actually have programs for Brazilian mining engineers that we can then expand and actually then position them also in different, like in Australia or Canada, where we're having a lot of issues with getting mining engineers. So we have actually a special DESVIC school for Brazilian mining engineers so that we train them up during their course of university. It's really a big area we work in.
Yeah. I mean, I think the answer will come both from mining new virgin material, but also, of course, that we need to be more and more efficient in recycling, recycle, reuse, remake, because there's not an infinite amount. And also, we know that the distribution of these minerals are not, with the geopolitical development, it puts several regions in a vulnerable position. So I think the answer is not only mining, but mining will be a very, very important part of it. And also to establish mining in a way that is sustainable and that can secure supplies to all regions in the world with the geopolitical development. Mm. Yeah, go ahead.
I think there's someone behind you that as well. That's good. That was the goal for us
Yeah.
today, right?
So either if you have time to talk to us today, or you can also contact, I think Ellen is a good starting point if it's specifically mining. And of course, we have our career site where we expose all the jobs and there's a continuous need. So, but maybe Ellen.
Yeah, yeah, please, yeah, feel
Starting
free to reach out. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question. We do, I think, but we're designing according to the conditions that we have in the mines. So I think we have good experience and I kind of know what to expect in that sense. But for sure, like that's why we also test our equipment in the harshest conditions, have them run somewhere in the really hot mines in Africa or really up north in Canada or Finland, Sweden, where we can get an experience of them coming to the snow and going back to the mine and so on. But it's pretty impressive as well. Like it's worth, if you're interested in that area, to look at our videos of our electric trucks because they're huge trucks and they're actually able to change their batteries on their own. So like lift it down and like lift the new battery up. I think it's pretty impressive technology.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think also getting it all together. And that's why I think Ellen's job is very important because we have acquired a special company this week. They're super good in mine planning. But the most important thing is to get it all together so that the customer doesn't get like 7 apps and 7 systems. And to us, we need to like get the data from operations back to planning, from planning to operations, etc. So this is the challenge. And that's actually the purpose of your role right now.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. So that's exciting. Yeah. I think if we answer from the perspective from Sandvik as a company, I think competence is one of the lacks. I mean, the minerals is more like the challenge for our customers, the miners. So for us, it's of course skills shortage and the possibility to get the right competence and skills to develop our products, to sell and serve our products. So that's definitely one challenge.
Yeah, and I think like the change management in general, especially when we're going for more like technologically advanced equipment, like automation, digitalization, it's working like working together with our customers to do that change management and change the industry. It takes some time, but it's definitely something we really work on.
Of course, but if you like drive all the mining equipment with electric, if they are all 100% electrical, it's still, you know, it's a big part, but not if you compare to, like, for example, all the cars. So of course it contributes to energy consumptions, and a full shift will need increased energy, of course, electricity. Yeah, somebody else was here. Yeah. Hmm?
Yeah, I guess we do both, right? We do a lot of we work a lot together with universities and like technical schools to ensure that we are, yeah, getting new people coming to the industry as well. But then I think the competence programs in general within Sandvik are like we're doing really good leadership programs and ensure that then. Like I feel Sandvik is really good at giving you opportunities. Like that's why I appreciate Sandvik and recommend it to anyone as well. And I don't know if you have anything.
No, I would agree. And also that we invest, I think it's interesting what you said about mining becoming a global market because, you know, the big mining is in South America, you have Canada, you have Africa, you have Australia, and it becomes almost like a global job market.
Yes, exactly.
As you are a good example of. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
Time's
All right.
up.
Perfect.
So time to wrap up. And thank you very much for all the interesting questions. Thanks.
Very good. Thank you. All right, thank you.
Tack, tack.